I think I need to start maybe videotaping these sessions in the podcast, these episodes. Now, I know I need to I know I need to do that for the ones where I have an actual guest, but I do think that I need to do that for these episodes that are just me because I have this grand vision of my living space, and I would love to have a video of just me talking. I'm gonna have to figure out all of the logistics for that. But if you could see the space right now, it is as you would imagine. It's cozy. I've got an incense going. I've got all of the candles that I own lit, and all of my lamps, and it's good in here. It's great in here actually. And I have just finished an evening of like just slathering myself in castor oil. so I put that on my hair. Oh, and rosemary oil on my hair because I want it to be luscious, and it's all over my face and it's on my eyebrows, and yeah, if you're not on the castor oil thing, you gotta get on the castor oil thing. It's so good. If you're listening to this and you want to message me because you're wondering about it and you don't use it, or you do and you want to know more, I mean, let's talk castor oil. We could do an episode about castor oil. It seems to be the cure all, you know? It's like everywhere you go and talk to people, that's the cure all. It's like, oh, have you tried castor oil? And have you put it in your belly button? And have you used it on your eyebrows? And have you. I was even putting it on my hernia because I read somewhere that it was good for like inflammation, and somebody put it on their hernia. And I think it hopefully maybe helped them. I don't know, but I was doing that for sure. Just trying to prolong the inevitable, you know? So, anyway, videotaping. Yes, I've already connected with some people about video, and I need to get a video camera, I think. And then these can be something that you not only listen to, but you get to witness. You get to, I mean, what am I doing all this work for to make the space amazing if we don't get to witness it? So, anyway, I'm glad you're here. And I already tried to record this episode actually. I would say roughly about a week ago. I think it was probably the day after that I recorded the first solo one that I did. And I got 20 minutes in and it wasn't working. It wasn't clicking, and I was very tired, and I had done a lot of different things. Like I spread myself out, not only to my full capacity, but I spread myself out very thin that day, and I was wearing all of the hats, which I wear many hats, but I wore for sure like my hat rack, if people have those, had no fucking hats on it. Like they were all on the floor because I wore all the hats, you know? So it just wasn't flowing. But what I wanted to talk about, and what I will talk about today, because it still comes up for me, and it's come up for me in the last couple days, and I just am like, I want to talk about this, and I feel it's really important that we work through this as a society who is now digital, who is now online, who is able to connect with people so much in the online space, and we are having all of these conversations all the time. And so what I wanted to talk about, what I will talk about today, is instant reply culture. Now, this is something that I've written about a few times, and I think I've really only written about it, I think, on stories maybe, and I don't know if I've written about it in a post, though it's possible that it does exist somewhere that's a little bit more permanent than a story. But this comes up for me, and I want to be really clear that this doesn't come up in a space where I feel, because I think at the core of it all, people are just really kind and lovely and caring and respecting other people's time. And so they say, "I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you," whatever it was, like whatever it is, right? And so I do recognize that there is good intention and there's kindness and there's love in that. But, when I first came to this feeling of not wanting to consent to instant reply culture is when I had emailed someone, I think probably in an evening, even. Like, I think it was like an afternoon or an evening. And I ran into them the next morning and they were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I haven't gotten back to your email. Like, I haven't said anything. Like, we had this whole conversation in person." And they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you." And I was just thinking to myself, like, and for me, I it depends on the context, like it depends on what's going on, but I genuinely do not care unless it's something that, you kind of need a response from, like it matters that you get the response. But I don't mind, like, you know, typically I really don't care that much if you don't get back to me, if a friend doesn't respond to me right away and it takes a little while. I always want people to feel, that's really true in my heart. That's really genuine, that I don't mind when you get back to me as a friend or for something that's not maybe urgent or that someone's waiting for. You just take your time. And so this person said this to me when I saw them, and so I said what I just said now to them. I said it's totally okay, and like it hadn't even been 24 hours. It wasn't even close to really technically 24 hours if you really think about it. And so I started thinking about how people feel and how that comes up frequently in these conversations. And I was just thinking about like how many times I hear that and how we don't even feel that we can take time to put together thoughts and manage everything at once. And so I started thinking about that in that moment, and I thought, okay, well, what's with this like instant reply culture? And then I started thinking about how, I've said this to many people before. And so excuse me if you've heard it before, like excuse me. But if we didn't have a device, which is extremely new to you as a being, as a human being walking this earth, right? If you didn't have this device, how many conversations would you have really had today? Like if you couldn't connect virtually, you could have a phone. Like you could have a phone, like a landline, let's just say. Like you could have a phone. So how many conversations would you have? So for me, if I think about today, I went and I taught yoga and I had a few conversations there. And I saw my mom and I had a conversation there. And that was it. And I went to like a store. I went to, I think, maybe just one or two stores. And I had little tiny conversations and interactions with people working there. And then I've just been by myself. And so I've probably had about 8 in-person conversations, roughly, maybe a little less. But my phone, I have been able to have 20. Like just on the phone, I've had 20 conversations with people today. And you see how like unnatural that is, to the human mind and to the well-being of even your nervous system. Like how foreign is that? And so how can we expect anyone to get back to us right away all the time? You can't. And if you're working with in yourself feeling shame and guilt around not getting back to people right away for things again that are not urgent, and you can still respect people, like you can still respect them and their time and whatever it is you need to say to people. But if you feel that, I really like I urge you to look into that a little bit more and find the root of why you feel the feeling of guilt or shame, not to the actual topic of not getting back to people right away or feeling like you need to instantly reply or even be available to people. So what actually causes you to feel like, what about that triggers you to feel like anxious and that you need to do it and that you feel guilty and shame? Because I see that and I hear it actually from people so much. They're like, oh, I feel so guilty, I didn't get back to you, you know. And I'm like, nah, man, like it's okay. It's okay. You know, and I don't even know how we can expect people to get back to us right away when not only are they managing all of those conversations, but we're managing like a lot of information. We're managing different type of work than we've ever had as beings as well. You know, we sit pretty sedentary. We're in front of the screen. You know, I feel really blessed because I work in the opposite way of traffic every single day. But I still witness the traffic because I'm going against it whenever I go anywhere. And it's just like day in and fucking day out, like bumper to bumper, people going in to work, and then I come back the other way, and it's the same people on the way back every day. And that's your, you know, that's your time too. Right? That's time that, you know, that's time that you're just kind of getting from A to B, and you're getting from A to B in this thing where you're working this job, and that's beautiful. Like that's great, you know, like it's so special. But to be really truthful, how many people do you talk to that like their job? Not many. And so the core of it is like people feeling sad, stressed, anxious. We're living in this extremely foreign, and I know you know that, but really think about like extremely foreign environment to the human brain, to the human soul. You know, even cars, man, like cars are very foreign to the being. You know, like pavement is very foreign to the human being. It's very new. It's not primitive. And so you think of that, and then you think how many people have to get back to one another, and how people feel worried that they're going to forget or that they haven't gotten back to them, that they can't manage it all. You know, the other day I was sitting, and I truly, I again want to be really clear. I don't feel judgment. I do. Don't get me wrong. I judge shit all the time, but I don't feel judgment a lot of the time in these like scenarios. For me, I feel very much in a neutral place of observation. I just feel like I just observe, and then I start to dig deep on whatever whatever I think that could relate to or be or why or the source, you know. And so I'm sitting in not technically traffic, but like I'm in the car and there's red lights, you know. And I saw this person on their way to work, because this was the morning, so this is like 7:30 in the morning. They're going to work, 8 o'clock in the morning, wherever. And the girl had her phone like in her car, mounted, you know, on the vents, right, like hands free. And she's scrolling like food, like breakfast food, and ordering. Now, again, why I don't judge that? Because I do that. I don't judge that in a way of like feeling like I should, like I can't criticize her, right? Like I'm not, you know, I'm not criticizing her and thinking like, what the fuck, you know, like what are you doing, whatever. I'm just noticing And the only reason I know this is because I've done it and I've seen it and I feel it and I know it to be true, right? That this girl and us as beings, we have no time to feed the self, to nourish the body, to feel like we can just stop for a moment and like cook. Like we're ordering food in the car while we're driving, and this is food that is no judgment, but this is food that is not nourishing and also very foreign to the human body. This is like fast food, right? And so like you see this cycle, like we got the traffic, we got the morning, we've got the phone, the phone is there. And we've got ordering this food that is not nourishing to the body, to the brain, to the being, to the soul. It doesn't move through the body very nicely. It's low vibration. It's been robbed of everything that is actually beneficial. And we're on the way to work, like the job that we don't really feel that we like that much. And what else do you have to do is like keep up with everything you're witnessing online, all of the conversations, all of the reactions, all of what comes through when people want to engage with you. And I love it. Like I love to engage with people. And I remember like when I first started any sort of, it was the like my yoga social media, right? Like that was the first thing that got the ball rolling. And I remember like sometimes I would reach out to people, like I would just message or reply back to their story, and they would maybe just like it, or they just wouldn't reply at all. Like they would read it and not reply. And I remember thinking, man, I will never do that because I don't, it doesn't make me feel the greatest that this person didn't get back to me. Meanwhile, this is a person with, oh, I don't know, like thousands of followers, right? So lots to keep up with. There's probably a lot coming their way. And I thought, yeah, I'll never be like that. Like I don't want to ever not get back to someone who reached out or who took the time to say something. And that still feels very real and true for me because I feel, mainly kind, and also that I do want to get back to people. I mean, I'm not in a place where I don't know who anybody is in my space. I actually remove followers of people that I don't actually know because I don't want them. Like, I don't want my space. I feel very selective about who's around there. And so I remember feeling that way. And, it's not how I feel now. It's not really how I feel now. I do my best. But I've realized that I can't get back to everybody. Sometimes that social limit has been reached and there is nothing left for me to give and to share and to entertain. Some conversations I don't really even have space for. And I also don't really have the space to get back to those conversations instantly. And nor do I believe that you should or need to. And so, multiple times this week, and last week, and the week before that, and the week before that, and the week before, I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you. I'm so sorry for my delay. And I know this is coming from such a kind place. But, 4 days is okay. 4 days to get back to an email that is not really that urgent technically, like can just be replied to whenever it's all right. A week is okay. You got to take what you need. Like how many times have you really not been in the place where you could actually have a conversation with somebody? Like just life is just tough and something's happening in your world that's shifting your life, and you just don't have that. I can really only reply to emails for the most part in the morning because I need fresh eyeballs, fresh brain. I don't really do too much at night other than this, which I maybe would be better at in the morning too, with my fresh brain. But this seems like an evening thing, if I'm honest. This seems like an evening thing. Anyways, I wanted to share that about instant reply culture and this reminder that having this many conversations and this many things asking for your energy is not normal to the being. It's just not normal to us as humans. Among all of the other things. And what also becomes really complicated is this online space, and this probably needs its own chat, right? But the online space, like for me, I don't I don't feel like I do this maybe a little bit, but not that much. I don't I feel way past this, and I don't even know if I've ever really done this that much because I don't see the point. And I feel really grateful to be grown out of this thought pattern or this way of being or whatever it is. But I don't ever compare myself to other things. Like I don't compare my photography, I don't compare my podcasts. I don't look at someone else, and think that they're better or worse than me. A little bit, for sure. Like for sure, yeah, I have that. And then there's times in my life where on more of a personal level I do feel insecure about some things. Because that's normal. But I don't ever compare my work, like my yoga work and my teaching and my path spiritually, any of my creations, any of what I've put together. I don't look at anyone else's photography and think I'm not good enough. It's not enough. My work isn't as beautiful. They're so much better than me. I never, ever, ever do that. And so where are we having conversations? You're having conversations now. There's so many conversations happening through Instagram. This is probably primarily where I just get the most of everything. Because not only is it a place where we can talk now, and I have multiple accounts, but that's my own fault. But we can talk, we can engage, we can share, we can we see what people are doing. And then we have, of course, you're able to text, and then you have Facebook, and then you have WhatsApp. And if you're using Instagram primarily as your app or your place of potentially, doing business, which I say very lightly because Instagram doesn't, just because you have an Instagram doesn't mean that you are that you do business, but, or that you're in business, right? But you're there. And so what are you able to see? At least if you just email someone, if you just text them, you're not exiting that space into this other area of photos and videos where people can show you how good they are at everything they do, and you are bombarded by that false reality. People on average, I see, and I don't have this too much, right? Because I really curate what I'm looking at. But, on average, people just showing you their highlights and their good times and all of the best things. Now, I don't personally have that too much. I like really real people. But, you get that and you just think, this looks so good, or why isn't mine like that? Actually, you know what? I lie. Because when I want to do the yoga videos, that is a place where I feel that maybe I compare, because my space is not as beautiful as some of these other spaces that I see people filming in. And that's just the truth, right? Like I think, oh, like I need to have a beautiful space because everyone that makes videos for their yoga stuff has a beautiful space, or they're doing it all over the world. And in full honesty, I like the idea that I get to travel more now because I get to film videos around the world. Like I have my good, and I have my shitty intentions too, right? Like I think I think it's important that you're open about that with yourself. You don't have to share it with everybody. But just to know, like even last time in the last episode, I said right at the beginning, I'm doing this because I genuinely want to. I want to elaborate. I want to talk. But also, it is to have something to share, something to give. It is to have content. It's here to keep the fucking ball rolling. Like, we have this whole space now. I've got all of these things that I've got to keep the momentum up. I've got to keep myself afloat. I got to keep the dream alive so that all of the hopes that I have that would extend to others, to help them, to support them, to share with them, I am able to give that. So yes, I do compare. I do compare myself to others. And I hope not for long, right? Like I hope that maybe that yoga one can go away now that I've spoke it out. Spoke it out? Whatever. Now that I've said it. Maybe it'll start to dissipate. Anyway, so yeah, so when you text someone, when you email someone, you're not heading back into that platform of Instagram where everything is, peachy keen and everyone's showing you their best. Because even the photos, right? Like even the photos, I mean, I've taken some awful photos. I've taken some awful photos. But I'm not going to share those. There's no way. There's just no way. I know every one of you have taken some awful photos out there. I guess who's to say that they're even awful, but you know that they're not that great, right? And so it's stimulating, it's overstimulating. The apps and the conversations and the keeping up and it was a lot of why I brought Hunter on to help us here, because I cannot manage everything. And I can actually, like I can manage everything, but it doesn't actually support the next steps. If I'm always poking around at the tiny little things here, I don't have the capacity to move forward. And there's lots that I just don't want to do anymore. I feel like there's a certain things where I've just done my time and that's good, and I've earned the next. It's like I've leveled up. I've leveled up. So yeah, just what are you witnessing? What conversations are you engaging in? Are there some that you could lose? Like, are there some conversations where you could just start to like taper off? Like, what are you even talking about anyway? Like, what are you talking about? See if they're of substance. Are they of benefit? Are they of knowledge? Are they of wisdom? Are they of humor? Are they of love and support? Are they of depth? Like, what are they? And I'm nowhere close to free of this myself, but if they're primarily like shitting on others, like they gotta go. Like they gotta go. Like those conversations, this vibration. doesn't help you to be a better you, you know? And so I guess that leads me just into what you allow in your space. What conversations do you allow, and what media do you consume? What music do you listen to? What is the content of the conversation? What is the quality of conversation? You know, who are you sharing time with, energy with? You know, you learning, you discovering. And you would never want to do this, but if you could, limit yourself to think, I'm just going to try to have 5 conversations today. Like, don't do that, right? But, or maybe do it. I don't know, do whatever. But you would probably become a lot more selective about who's getting your time that day. Who do you want to speak to? Who do you want to converse with? Who do you want to share with? Who needs to know where you're going, what you're doing? You know, get the updates. Anyways, I'll circle back. I'll circle back to instant reply culture, and then I'll let you go. But yeah, instant reply culture. That's got to go. I really hope that you don't consent to that. I hope that you don't fall into that trap of feeling like you need to be available for everyone all the time, or that you have the capacity to keep up with all of those things. And I think I can be a very selfish person. And I hope, but it's not true. I have a lot of points of myself that are not always the best. And that's fine. You know, you do your best, that's okay. But I can be very selfish, and in the most humble way possible. Selfish in a positive way. I can be selfish in a shitty way, for sure, you know, but I hope, and in my mind, I feel selfish and empowered in a positive way, primarily, right? I'm sure somebody will message me and be like, well, Whitney, you know, remember that time? But that's good. I can honestly admit to me fucking up all the time, but it's fine. But I feel selfish because sometimes I will say to people that are just giving, like giving, expending energy, just sharing it, like doing things for others and just offering so much and never saying no. Like, holy shit. Like, one time somebody told me, I forget who it was, because for me, you know, I go. I'm like on to the next, like just doing my best. I'm trying my hardest. I'm working so hard and I love it. Like, I love it. And somebody told me that I need to be more like social, but like I'm good, man. Like, I feel fine. I feel social enough, right? But somebody told me once, they said to me, you know, because they saw that I was doing so much, which is the joy of my life personally. They're like, you know, it's okay to say no. I don't think this person knew me very well. Like, they knew me a little. They're like, but they're, you know, it's okay to say no. And I thought to myself, fuck, man. Like, I was like, I say no to like everything. Like, I say no to so much stuff because I don't want to. I just don't want to do it. It just doesn't align, or it's just not the thing for me, or I don't know, this is what I want to do, that like right now what I'm doing, this is what I want to do, like, you know? And so I thought, I do say no, like I do a lot, but everything I do, it comes from such a pure place. I love it. Like, I love it so much, you know? And so I will share with you, because Selfishly, I say no a ton. I do not ever do what I don't want to do. And I can be rigid in that, but I try my best to not be too rigid in that because I like, I want to discover some stuff too. Don't get me wrong, but it's in a way of honoring. It's in like my gut, it's in my intuition, it's in my truth, it's in what I feel is actually beneficial for me as a being. If I just, no, I don't want to do that. It's the same with these conversations. It's the same with you giving and giving and giving or feeling bad about these conversations and not replying right away or whatever the fuck it is. Say no. Like, you don't have to give. You don't have to share. You don't have to show up for something when you don't want to. You don't have to go to some gathering. You don't even need to go to work. You don't need to go to work. Again, I say that lightly, but like, if your day is just not, like, if you're not feeling, I see so much shame and guilt in people for that. They're like, I don't know, like, I don't want to call in. I'm like, just fucking call in, man. Like, it's cool. You gotta do what you need. And meet it in the middle. Don't become too complacent. Don't become too lazy, all that stuff. Don't become too much. Don't become too intense. Don't work too hard. Like, don't do too much. But meet it in the middle. Honor the self. Honor the self in a pure way, in a respectful way. You need to go and work because you have to fund your life. You need to nourish your body. You need to grow food, eat food. You need to buy the seeds to grow the food. Like, you need those things. You need to be able to drive to go somewhere, to go on an adventure. Like, yes, you need your job. Like, it's very important. Honor that for yourself. Honor your work. Honor your finances. But still honor the self. If you need a day, if you need to say no, if you just don't want to do it, I really, really, really hope that most people can start now, and I see it, like, it's happening, but more people can start to feel really empowered to just be like, nah, no, I'm okay. And you don't need to use a lot of language. Something I don't really like that much, and I think it's quite strange actually, but I've seen it before where somebody doesn't really want to do something and they use all this language like just how they want to not do it, or they're like dancing around it, or there's you can be honest if you feel safe to who you're talking to be honest and just say, this is what's going on and I'm really needing this space, or this is what I want to do instead. Like, I feel so happy on the days that I just do what I want to do instead. Like, holy shit, like, I feel so good on the days. But you can be honest with them. Like, if you feel safe in the connection that you share with that person, you can. Or you don't lie. Like, we honor Satya, we honor truth. But some people don't need or deserve or have to have the truth. You have to remember that too. Like, truth is good, but again, in a way that you're honoring and respecting yourself. Like, if you don't feel safe or comfortable to share that knowledge, you don't really have to lie, but you just say something that keeps it so that you are holding yourself in reverence. And you're able to say something that allows you to still feel comfortable in that connection, or that, that relationship that you have with that person, right? And you just start to say no. You start to say no to anything that you argue with yourself over, right? Anything that gives you grief, like not getting back to someone right away gives you grief for sure. You're like, shit, it's been another day. Like, oh, I gotta get back to them. Like, I had a friend of mine that messaged me recently, and they have not messaged me for like over a year. And I've wished him happy birthday and he didn't get back to me. And I like sent some other kind of messages here and there, things that reminded me of this person. And they didn't get back. Like, they didn't get back to me in the year. And I never thought anything of it. I really didn't think anything of it. I didn't even I was just like, all right, like, what, like, it's, what, I don't know. Like, I just don't really care. And then I finally heard from them, more recently. He was like, I looked back and like I saw that you wished me happy birthday, and I just thought, oh man, I feel so bad. Like she was saying these nice things to me, and I just whatever. And I was like, I genuinely do not mind. Like I genuinely do not care. You will reply. You will do the thing when you want to. You will show up for the event that you want to show up for. You will help someone when you want to help, when you feel it from your heart, when you have the capacity. I could never fault anyone for that. Anyway. And so it is, and so it is. And so it is. Yeah. Do your best. Do your best. You gotta love yourself. Love yourself. Love others. Just honor your feelings. Remember, just connect with the newness. How foreign this all is to us. Like I'm sitting in front of this bright ass computer screen, like just in the dark too. Like just and then what do my glasses have? Blue light blockers built into them. Oh my god. Oh my god. Anti-strain, because I'm just sitting here like you are too, just fucking relentlessly hunched over my desk like like this is it's so weird. It's like so normal now, but like that's kind of weird that it's normal now. Anyway, that's it. That's all. We'll call it. We're gonna call it. Anyways, thanks for being here. Don't forget to say no. Don't forget to love yourself. Don't forget to love others. Don't forget to give yourself space, compassion, ahimsa. Don't forget ahimsa. Please, please don't forget this kindness, softness to the self, softness to others. We're all just doing what we do. You're a good person. You're a good person at the core of it all. You gotta hold that. Hold it close. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Warm bows. Warm bows to you.